A good organizational workflow is hard to find, but let's look at 2 ways ON1 Photo Raw helps us out with that problem. If you're new here and you use Lightroom or ON1 Photo Raw and you're just starting out, consider hitting the subscribe button. I release new tutorials on both ON1 and Lightroom every single week right here at Free Will Photos. Let's get into it. So this video is assuming that you've already culled your images and you've worked through selecting the images you want to edit later on in the process. I put hearts next to each one of the images I plan to edit at some point. Some of the ways that you can also categorize your images is by using keywords. If you click on the keyword list here, you can see all of the keywords that you'll be able to select, or you can also even update some of the metadata in here and categorize your photos based off of the metadata. For me, I'm just going to use the built-in rating features that are on ON1. Let's take a look at the 2 features that ON1 offers us to help organize our images. To navigate to the albums and to create an album, there's a few different ways, but before you make your album, I suggest you minimize the local drives so that way you can see your albums module or your albums pane over here on the right hand side. The best way that I found to create an album is to click each one of the items that you want to put into the album. So I'm clicking once to get the blue hyper selected or most selected image, and then I'm holding down the command key. I believe it'll be control on a PC. And I'm just going to go through and click these 4 images that I put the hearts on. And you know what? Maybe I did like this image and this image. So doesn't matter if they're hearted or not. I'm just going to go ahead and put these into an album. If you right click on here, halfway through the box, it's going to say add to album. Now, this is if you have a pre-existing album already started, okay? Which I have one that says basic tutorial. That's the album that I use for all my tutorials. I can go ahead and click to add these to that album, but that's not what I want to do. So instead, what I'm going to do is come over to the albums pane, click the plus icon, create new album, and I'm going to name this Aloe. If I could spell aloe. And then add selected items, right? So I've already selected my items, so I'll click OK, and you'll see the items drop into this album. Now I have my album over here, and all of those images that were selected, here they are. Let's think of albums like that photo album that you put on your coffee table or on a bookshelf. You can pull that out and flip it open, start looking at things. That's exactly what these albums are like. Now, the cool thing with it is you can filter through and make some changes. So I'll go ahead and give this a 2-star rating, and I will give this a 5-star rating. Imagine there's tons of images inside of this album. If I wanted to, after I've already edited my images and I want to get to the photos that have the most ratings or the ones that I did the best edits on, however you want to use this star rating system, that's going to be different for each individual. What I can do is come over to my advanced search. Usually it'll look like this, right? So you'll have to click there and then click the little blue circle to activate your advanced search. Once advanced search is activated, you'll have a few options here. Now, what you want to make sure is selected before you click on anything up here is filter current photos. Now, we'll talk about that here in a second, but you want to make sure that that's selected. And now, when I click the star icon, if I want to see photos with at least 1 star, which these both meet the criteria, I get these photos, it filters it, helps me out a little bit. Now, if I want to get just the 5-star photo or just photos with 3 stars, I think you're getting the point here. And then you can just clear this out by clicking off of it and all your photos come back. Now, if I only wanted to see the photos that I hearted or gave it a like or whatever, meaning I want to do something with this at some point, but I don't know exactly what. My system is I use the like button to identify the photo that I want to edit, and then later on down the line, a month, 2 months later, I'll come back and do my photo edits, and then I give them a star rating. That's just my personal preference. You can come up with your own. And then I use the colors very rarely. I haven't found a need to use colors personally. Now, the reason why you don't want to do search catalog folders, because as soon as you do that, then it's going to look for these images that I've already put into a catalog folder specifically for this tutorial. But they're in here, and I have my heart selected. So all of the things that are inside of the catalog folder where these live, those are the images that are being presented right now. The second way that ON1 allows us to organize our images is with catalogs. Now, catalogs are extremely powerful. Up in the top of the top left of the browser, you'll see My Catalogs. When you click that, you'll go ahead and open it up. As you can see, I have 2 catalogs already selected, already built. Aloe Plant and Pre-Shampoo. The difference between a catalog and an album is that catalogs store a cached image in the background, which allows you to make faster edits and pull up the image a lot sooner. This is a really big deal if you're working with paid clients and you want to categorize each one of those photo shoots, but you don't want every single image. These are just the deliverables that you sent out to the client and you said, hey, here are your images. This is where you want to use catalogs because you want to be able to work as fast as possible, and having a good organizational system for that, catalogs is probably one of the better options. Now, when you create your first catalog, you're going to be greeted with a screen that's going to ask you what level of cache you want to create. The first one is standard, which extracts the image metadata and the XF thumbnail and creates a high quality thumbnail and fits the screen size for the preview. The next one down is going to be medium, which extracts metadata and the XF thumbnail and creates a high quality thumbnail. And then minimal, which extracts metadata and XF thumbnail only. Now, you could choose the one that you believe works the best, but I suggest you stay with standard if your computer can handle it, and you're just going to get the best bang for your buck out of that. Now, the cool thing with catalogs is you can search across multiple folders. So if you have an event that went over a few different days, so as you can see here, I cataloged all of my aloe vera plants, but I want to see the hearted items in every single catalog that I have. Here's another beauty product shoot that I did, and I just was messing around with the aloe vera plant here. So if I wanted to see all of the photos that I want to work on in my catalogs, I just have to hit the heart photo, hit the like icon, and then in the drop down, search catalog folders. And there's every single image across my cataloged folders that are up here that I put a heart on. And I can use all of these features to filter through and find the exact images that I'm looking for. Now, if you're using the folders to subcategorize, then you'll probably be okay. The cool thing about the catalog folders is you can also make subfolders. So if you have a bunch of landscape photos from one location, you can put all of those photos inside of one folder and then just categorize it by the event that happened at the location, the date that you took the picture at that location. The possibilities are pretty much endless. But the other thing you can do with catalogs is if you're updating to social media, you can put different versions of images inside of the catalog. Now, you can use any level of organization that you want, but these are 2 features that ON1 does offer to help us organize our images and get back to editing them faster. If you found today's tutorial helpful, go ahead and click the like button. If you have questions, leave them in the comment section below. And until the next time, stay inspired and keep creating.